We're back for another episode of the Welcome Distraction. Today, we're out to talk about surviving jobs. Jobs that we had so bad that felt less like employment, more like low budget survival challenges. In this edition, we're going to relive toxic bosses, miserable shifts, terrible customers, and dead end jobs that slowly drained our souls one paycheck at a time. From Walmart disasters and fast food chaos to overnight kitchen cleanup and sketchy waterfront restaurants that smelled like old shrimp and broken dreams. Will prove every terrible job eventually becomes an hilarious story, assuming you survive it mentally.
This is the Welcome Distraction Podcast with the Kemp Brothers. Their immature stories, thoughts, and opinions are their own and should be taken with the same level of seriousness as a drunk uncle's late-night conspiracy theory. They are not responsible for any brain cells lost, friendships ruined, or questionable life choices made under their influence. Now buckle up, buttercups.
Okay, today on the Welcome Distraction, we're talking about worst jobs we ever had from our perspective, from the Kemp Brothers. We're going to go ahead and start out with the youngest Kemp brother, who's had a few jobs, probably more than we had. Nicholas, what do you got for us?
I have had a number of jobs. And so before I dive into my worst jobs ever, let me just put a little
Disclaimer?
asterisk out there or a
Beep.
disclaimer.
Disease.
Nothing against anyone that works in the food industry. Those people bust their butts. They work hard.
Please don't spit in our food.
Yes.
Is
No
that-
spit. Hold
That look
hold
like
spit.
spit? Yeah.
Hey, does that look like spit to you? Fuck it. So I have always told my daughters, I do not want you working in the food industry.
Like no Hooters?
No Hooters.
Twin
No
Peaks?
nothing. Anything dealing with food.
Never again.
okay. There are
serve food
hard
there?
workers in the food industry, but there are also people that are just not they're not willing to put in the work to get that next better job. They're settling, right? During my and so again, this is just my experience, my personal experience. So please don't hold anything against me.
Judging you.
Those that I worked with were
Judging,
not the
judging.
greatest people, and I worked in a number of different food establishments, everywhere from fast food to sit down restaurants, and just
Right.
the people that you worked with and surrounded with some good people and some not so good people. And so in my experiences, I'll start with, so got a job at a Wendy's through a friend of a friend. So it was a great place to work. He loved it. Started there. And from the first week, I was being abused. Like
Oh.
they must not have been aware that there were child labor laws. And so here I was only like 16 years old. And I'm pretty sure at 16, even back then, this is back in the late 90s,
Yeah.
you weren't supposed to work more than 30 hours a week,
Yeah.
I think.
Show
Mhm.
us on this cheeseburger where he hurt you.
Yeah, I believe there's
Really?
certain hours they had to track that, and you were supposed
Uh-huh.
to be like,
It's different for each
Yeah.
state. But
Yeah.
I don't know, but all I know is I was not only was I working more than 30 hours, I was working more than 40 hours. I was getting paid overtime. And I remember thinking like, this is great because I'm making bank, but I was like, there's no way that this is legal. I mean, I would close down the place and I would sleep in my clothes so I could be back in time to open the place. Because I was only getting like 2 or 3 hours to sleep.
so you were sleeping
Oh
in
my
your car
God.
in the parking lot and just coming
soaked
right back
in
in?
grease. Just disgusting. Like, yeah, there were times where me and my buddy, we contemplated just sleeping in the car, but we made the trek back to my house. He would spend the night all the time, and we would just sleep in our clothes and get up like 2 or 3 hours later and go back to work and
Was that
open that
bad?
place up. Yeah, it was bad.
I forgot you guys work together too.
So some of the leadership there was pretty cool, but the others just they take advantage of you. Like they find out that you're a hard worker and you're willing to give a little more, and they're like, test the
You
water
be their
card.
mule.
All right, take a little more. Just take a little more. Take a little more. And yeah, next thing you know, I'm 17 years old and I'm working 50 hours a week. I look back on that and like, man, they really took advantage of me. They took advantage of multiple kids my age. But
Yeah, we're
fast
gonna have to
forward
look at the
to
laws for that in Florida that year and see what it was.
yeah, we'll have to go back and look. Fast forward a number of years later, right before I joined the Air Force, I was working at Red Lobster, not far from the Wendy's,
Cheddar Bay biscuit.
and I was
it?
working as a waiter. And yeah, you get a Bay biscuits, not bad. You get unlimited, as long as you make them.
Mhm.
But again,
Mm.
part of going back to my opening comments, a lot of the people that you're working with there are kind of sketchy. And so I remember one particular incident where I had to use the restroom. Back then, you didn't have a phone to look at while you're
The
We were
hell did you
dropping a deuce.
do?
So you had to have something to do.
I read
A
something.
lot of times I'd pull out my wallet and I'd be looking at my wallet. I've been looking at the back of my driver's license or reading the insurance card or maybe counting how much money I got, okay, doing good, whatever. I must have sat my wallet down to, clean up, you know, handle my business. And I
Mm.
guess I accidentally left my wallet in there.
Oh,
And
boy.
so I
Whoops.
left. And this is a bathroom this was not the bathroom out front. This is a bathroom that's for employees
Oh,
only. So
really?
this is back in the
Cool.
kitchen. And so about 20 minutes, it wasn't that long, maybe 15, 20 minutes went by and I was like, oh God, you get that
Mhm.
sinking feeling. You're like, oh my
Balls in
God,
your
I don't have my
pants?
wallet on me. And I backtracked. I was like, that's right. I left it in the bathroom. I go run in the bathroom. It's gone. And so I go around to like everyone in the kitchen. Hey guys, have you seen my wallet? It's a little blue Velcro wallet. I think I left it in the bathroom. No, man. No, I ain't seen it. I ain't seen it. Go to everybody. Nobody's seen it. So I'm like, I guess I got to go to the manager. So I go to the manager and she's
Mhm.
like, all right, I'll handle this, Nick. And she goes and asks everybody. But fesses up. I never got my
Mhm.
wallet. I had like $150 in there from
Dang.
working the first shift.
Damn, you've been
And when
living your
you're like
whole life
18
without
years
a
old,
wallet.
and this is back in the 90s, I mean,
Yeah,
that
with
was
inflation, that's like $1
that
million
was like
now.
that was
Yeah.
half my rent back
It's
then.
like
I was only paying
tank of
$300 a
gas.
month.
Dang.
And so that just completely like floored me and just I lost
People are
whatever
stupid.
decency I had left
I'm
for the
spitting
rest
in
of the
everybody's fucking food.
so I was pretty disappointed in
I was
that.
just touching my dick and I didn't wash nothing. Yeah, and that's when Nicholas switched to a prison wallet. Always and never failed him. Always
That's
up
right.
his ass. My wallet's the last thing you're gonna worry about. Yeah.
Right. Here's my money right here. Hold
I
on.
walk ass with
Hold
my
on.
money. Would you like change,
Yeah.
sir? No, I'm good.
But like I said, I've worked at a number of other food
Establishments.
industry locations, but those are some memorable stories that I had of just not being too keen on the industry itself and those that work at those
Yeah, it got you through some
venues.
times, though. I remember you were definitely, you were doing it all. You were kinda on your own. Yeah, you
Yeah,
were working this out.
yeah. I got a band-aid.
Yeah. So for me, I remember real quick, the first job I had that was legit, and I think I was sharing that with somebody, but it was parking golf carts at a golf course, which was actually pretty cool. But then it had a downside to it too. So this wasn't worst job material, except you have to put these damn golf carts. There was like 70 of them. You had to put them in order because they wanted to make sure that they were tracked and charged
Yeah.
equally each time. So the carts were getting back where they needed to be. And then the older ones would get back out first, and go through that rotation. You couldn't just throw them
Mhm.
back in there because then you'd end up with carts getting used more than the other ones. Yeah. If you don't
Right.
think about it, it makes sense. So it was cool from the standpoint that you would just do all these golf carts, plug them in. You're driving a golf cart. I was like 17 years old. So driving a golf cart around, I screw around, I run into other ones like bumper cars every now and then. And then when you were waiting for golf carts to come in, they didn't care if you just threw your clubs on the back and went and played a few holes. So I was like, oh shit, I get to play some golf and drive these golf carts. And it was a hilly golf course, especially for Florida golf course. It was pretty
Yep.
damn hilly. So you'd have to wait sometime because these guys that would be playing till it was a twilight and dusk.
Yeah.
You'd be wanting to go do something with your friends or girlfriend or something,
Mhm.
and you're having to wait till this 80-year-old's limping around the golf course on the
One
golf cart.
damn cart.
Yep, and you're waiting on that one that's somehow out of order, and you can't put 10 other carts away until you get that one in there because they had, like, these makeshift little barns where their things were parked. So, anyway, you have to wait, so it was annoying as shit, but, one time we had our buddy Pat, he went with us, and, I think
Pat.
Christopher was there too,
Pat was
and, we
everywhere.
went down hole number 12, and man, it had a
It was a
huge
5-story drop is what it
yeah,
was.
huge decline. Sprinklers would come on all the time to water the grass, and if that grass had just been watered, man, you could get a run and
Or
start some of these.
if it was Florida and late in the day and you're waiting for the cart, the dew would settle on the
Mhm.
grass and
Everything would
things would
start to
get
get wet.
slick.
Yeah. So this one time, just full send down this hill, and Pat's driving or riding. I don't know what side he was on, but the golf cart starts to spin and tip over after they jumped and twisted. And
Oh, yeah.
somehow, some way, Pat put his arm out, which is like the worst thing you could probably do when something's about to tip. And he put his arm out, and somehow it was just teetering like a seesaw. And he was able to push the golf cart back up. Otherwise, it would have destroyed first Pat
Yeah.
and his arm, the golf cart next, and who knows what it would have done to that hole, that fairway. My
We'd be
God.
talking about, oh, one-arm Pat right now.
Like the goddamn drummer from Def Leppard, except he
He
couldn't
didn't
play
come
drums. But So that went from a cool day to a holy shit day to, oh,
Yeah.
we got away with something here. I mean, it slowed us down maybe for a minute, but
Yeah.
we were still
Pretty sure
out there.
the golf cart had some like frame bendage. We
We
got
were
her good enough.
jumping bunkers and shit out there.
I think you almost got put one in the pond too, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty
Oh
sure we
yeah, a
locked it
couple
up and
times.
stopped
Remember
just
that?
just short.
Yep, start putting the tires in, back it out,
Wow. You could
shit like
really get
that.
some things going in and out
We
of a
would
month.
go and spin it and try to like whip the rear end around right in the
Uh-huh.
muddy part of the pond, and Brett whipped it around too deep and started going backwards, and we had to run over there and we're yanking it back out like, oh my god, it's spinning mud all over the place.
Yeah. So
And
that wasn't
so
the
it
worst
was
job.
a
We
it was
were
a dangerous
doing
job. Yeah, it was yeah, in this case, it was the worst job done by us on job, but it was fun and adventurous, and you probably shouldn't put teenagers in charge of golf carts. We got the job done. We never got in trouble with
Yeah.
the things that we did do. You bump a
Yeah.
cart every now and then, but
Yeah.
the other people driving them did worse than we did.
We ran the
So that
crap out of each other.
yeah, oh yeah, it was full on bumper cars with that shit.
Uh,
Luckily, it wasn't the digital age, so there wasn't security cameras and phones
Cameras. Yeah.
being whipped out all over the place because we got away with some crazy shit there. It was a good first job, and then then we transitioned to trying to get because you only get so many hours, right? I think we were still splitting time with like old Bob who still needed to get a few hours and get his free golf kind of thing. So I had to get a real job, a little bit better paying outside of school, and then I think I did this even after I graduated. But remember, Nicholas? We worked at Crackers Cove together. Yes, you heard that right. The
Not
name of this
racist.
restaurant in the town that we lived in, Howie in the Hills, all hyphenated on Little Lake Harris. You could just pull up on your boat to this restaurant. You could drive up to it. You could also dock up to it. It was
Oh,
called Crackers Cove. I
Cracker
don't know the
Cove.
history. Yeah.
like,
I don't know
did
the
you sell
history
a lot of
behind it.
crackers? Not a one.
I don't think I never not saw a cracker there as far as it was all old white people.
Oh,
This restaurant fit about 90 people in it, and it was one of the few areas in this tiny town that had about 800 people and one yellow flashing light that you could work and that might actually hire a teenager. So what kind of job are you going to get out of that? Under 18,
right.
dishwasher. So I started working there, yeah, as a dishwasher, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get more hours, and it was as you could imagine, it was grunt work. It was
Yeah.
cleaning up the grease, all the stuff in the kitchen. You'd have to do all that manual labor, wipe
Laborer.
stuff down. But you do a lot of food prep things too. So I was starting to learn a few things in the kitchen. But in between there, you had to keep up with the dishes, and so that would just be like never ending. So as you caught up, you do some food prep, and then all the dishes are backing up. So you'd have somebody else in there working, and these people aren't doing this long term, right? Everybody's kind of in transit, just doing it because they're either about to graduate high school or they have just graduated high school and haven't figured out what to do. So I was falling in that category, and then Nicholas started working there too as a dishwasher when he was younger and before he started on all his different fast food service establishment jobs.
Right.
We were working there, and Nicholas was kind of doing more of the grunt work as I moved up into the kitchen. And the kitchen was pretty cool, but I wanted to go be a waiter. I wanted to, that's where you weren't getting covered in shit. It smelling like grease and having all this dirty clothes. And they were out there, kind of cutting up. They were getting paid better.
Yeah.
They weren't
Just
all
come back there and
dirty.
yell at the cooks, right? And be like, where's my food at?
Every now and then they'd help, and or we'd help bust the tables and then throw some tips our way. And I was like, man, I see what tips you're getting. I want to do that. So I was gonna do that, and it was all set that I was gonna become a waiter and stop cooking because I had become just a full time cook there, and I was kind of enjoying that, and it was pretty self satisfying to fill a restaurant up, and sometimes me be one of the only ones. Well, right when that was gonna happen, they fired all the cooks. They fired all the cooks and said, Brett, we need you to stay on. We'll give you like a 50-cent raise an hour, and you stay and be and be a cook. Stay as the cook because we fired everybody else because some crazy shit was going on. Not something about inbreeding. No.
Drug test.
You remember the owner? I think his name was Doug.
Yeah.
He was there like
What
every
an
night. He'd be out
alcoholic.
there
Oh my God.
drinking like the whole time. And then like
Crazy cracker.
the two like there was like three family members that
Mhm.
worked there.
Yeah.
Debbie
Yep.
and her daughter, and wasn't Kai her
It's all
son?
coming back, guys. It's all coming
Or
No,
back.
Kai
was
wasn't
Kai
her
just
son.
close?
Kai was the other cook. I can't remember her name. They were mother and son, and they were good. But they were thick as thieves with the other ones. And then Leroy, female, she was working with Doug, and he
What,
was the
she's sleeping
owner.
with
And
everybody?
yeah, But this dude, Doug, he was such he just come in with you couldn't even see his eyeballs. He had these thick glasses on. He would just come back to the walk-in cooler and take out a case, 24 pack of beer, and just head on out and go up to the little, like they had these little hotels, motels, I guess more of it that was connected as part of it too, that was up the hill. And he would just drink a case a night easily,
Damn.
So, and he's the owner. So nobody questioned him. Yeah, he ordered more beer, but he ended up, yeah, there was some shit going on, but I ended up staying back as a cook, and it was pretty cool to be a short order cook and completely fill the restaurant and feed everybody. But
Yeah,
man, I just
and
got
you're
shit
pretty
because
young still.
yeah, I was only 18 doing all that, so it was pretty amazing to do that. But then at the end of the day, I'd have to clean all this shit up. I didn't have like, all right, I've served you guys, bring in the grunts. I was still a grunt. So me and Nicholas and some of these other guys that were working back in the kitchen, we help out, but then we'd have to, spray down, empty the grease from the fryers, all that stuff. And it was just repetitive and ridiculous. And I eventually, I wanted to take some time off and they wouldn't let me have it. It was Valentine's Day and I wanted to see my girlfriend. And I was like, they wouldn't give me the day off. So I was like, well, I'm calling in sick. So I called in sick and me and Christopher had to share a car and Christopher had the car that night. I didn't even have it. And, they drove by the house in this small town and saw that our shared car wasn't there and assumed, oh, he called in sick and his car's not there. He's too
Mm.
sick to be, out. You're fired. You fired me? My guy. You gotta be kidding me. So yeah, so I got fired from Crackers Cove. And then how'd that end up with you, Nicholas?
What's that?
How'd that end up with you at Crackers Cove?
I got fired. I don't remember why.
That
I
is
think I
going
was
around.
probably just some pissant. They were like, he doesn't work enough hours anyways. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, that was
But,
weird. I don't remember. They just let you go.
Yeah.
I think because you were young
I
or
remember
something. They
Debbie
wanted more
calling me
hours
out
out of
back.
you.
I'd show up to work and I don't know, maybe I'd probably called in sick too many times. But the biggest thing I remember there was like you said, all the grunt work and all the damn shrimp that we had to peel. And I remember
God.
you'd peeled probably thousands upon thousands of shrimp, but then one day you broke out really bad. And then you came up with this story that you're allergic to shrimp and then you never had to peel another shrimp. And I remember being like, this is fucking
You got it
bullshit.
all.
This
If I
guy
ever
is
poked myself with a shrimp when I was peeling it, my hands would start swelling up and start itching like crazy because the
Should
shrimp,
test that out
some of
now.
them had some little bit of pokes to it. So you'd be trying to butterfly it, peel it, and shrimp it and stuff, or shrimp it and peel it. So you could butterfly it. And yeah, my hands started swelling up. I was like, I can't do it anymore.
I remember not having to care about your health or your safety. I was just like, this is bullshit. He's lying.
I can't, Nicholas, I can't do it. You're gonna get fired.
All right.
What
Well,
about
Brett
you, Christopher?
talked about grunts in the kitchen. So me and Brett actually worked together, parking the carts. We would share, I think, days and shifts and things like that. Because naturally, we're twins. We're doing the same shit over and
Probably
over.
thought we were the same person.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah, he's
worked there
back
too,
again.
but I didn't get paid. I just got paid with I got to have a
Play some
shitload
golf?
of fun driving golf carts when I was
Golf
like
carts and
I was
yeah,
like
play
what
some golf.
12 or 13.
So at some point, I screwed that deal up or quit, right? And I was no longer doing golf carts at I think it was Mount Dora, Florida. And then I ended up working at now pretty elite, high ranking establishment, Mission Inn, where I think they have what U.S. amateur golf tournaments, things like that.
Hoity-toity over there.
So you talk about golf course, golf carts, and all that, and I worked in the kitchen. Right.
Yeah, there's a theme here.
And it was not glorious like Brad. I had nothing of any value. I was just the cleanup guy. And not only was I the cleanup guy, I was the cleanup guy after everybody got done just shitting all over the kitchen
bathroom.
and making a wreck. And this kitchen was, yeah, this
Hey, boy,
kitchen
come clean up
was,
my shit.
the bottoms level it was huge. It was a long line order kitchen where they were serving a lot of food. And then there was an upstairs, was more of a VIP. So there's two levels to this kitchens really. And I was the only person. I would come in about 6, 7 o'clock, and then I would work all through the night. And my shift would end probably about 4 or 5. I remember Brett Nichols would come visit me, and we either take the car if I had borrowed it because me and Brett shared a
We're
car,
going to Denny's.
or
See you
just
later.
or just to let me know that, hey, well, when you get off later, we won't be here. Well, this is where we're going to be here. This is what we're doing, or we're going to have fun, and you keep working your shitty job, which I did. In this job, like I said, I had to clean the entire kitchen, and it was just a mess. You'd think, all right, maybe I'll come in there today in this, nice establishment. It will be not so bad, but it was just wrecked every single day. And I had this one old man that had to be in his late 60s that he was the boss, and he was the boss of his own world. He was truly like institutionalized, and that was it. I was his little guy, and I did everything he had to do. And he would
Damn.
just, yeah, he would just point at stuff and, hey, don't forget about cleaning this shit up and throw it in the sink. The only perk I got was I got to eat like leftover food that they had made for the
Like off
dinner that
people's
night.
plates?
And he'd be like, hey, I saved us a couple plates.
Doing that apple core, you can have that. Doing that part.
And so
Doing that for
I would spend, 8 to 10 hours cleaning the entire kitchen, going through the whole process, the dishes, appliances. And then when you got done with that, you had to do the floors. It's those big rubber thick mats with the holes and food all in them. You had to take those all back and shake them. And it was some smelly, dirty labor that every single night it was the exact same thing. Forget how long I did it. I did it for, I'd say, better part of a year. It was by
was an
far the worst
eternity
job
back
I
then.
did at that point. No, me and Brett had it pretty lucky. Worked at a golf course, but this one it was miserable. I was
What
definitely
was the name of that
used.
restaurant?
Which one?
The
Where you
restaurant
washed the
Mission
dishes
Inn.
and cleaned up the shit. The restaurant of
The,
Mission.
oh, I don't know. I don't remember. What was it?
Was it? Did it start with an N?
Oh, I think maybe it was a K.
Inn? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Like the New
the
York
New York Knicks.
Snickers.
Knickers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where that name came from, but yeah,
Just can't say it too fast. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, be
Is
careful.
that the one you were out in the parking lot giving DJs?
Yeah,
Gotta make some side money and get some tips
that
and
was
get some
on.
DJs
That was
out
on
there.
break.
How much
He
is
was
a
that guy's
DJ?
little man. So.
Yeah. So I don't know what I got
Clean
paid
that
now.
shit up. Sorry.
I'm about to give you your bonus. Huh?
We got a tip for you. Come over here.
So I
A little
worked there.
extra in your bonus today.
But I definitely felt like Nicholas said, just getting abused. I want to say I was 18 years old, and it was just before I went off into the military as well. But man, they really took advantage of you if you were a good worker. I think I ended up calling in sick too many times for that job as well. You know what? I moved on. Let's put it that way. Good thing they didn't have cameras back then. Speaking of horrible bosses, Nicholas, you had a horrible boss or two, didn't you?
Horrible boss. One of my more recent jobs. And now, you reflect on the jobs that you had when you were younger and the managers that you've had and what we've learned over the years through not only our education and our leadership training, but the good bosses that we've had. And yeah, unfortunately, I had the experience of working for a boss for a number of years, a little over 5 years. I won't go too much into detail. I won't give any names or anything like that. But this boss liked to lead through intimidation. They would threaten you. They wouldn't be direct. Wouldn't be like a direct threat, but it would be more kind of a like you need to get this done or else.
Veiled threat, if you will.
And so it was sad, looking back on it. I learned a lot. I think it made me a lot stronger. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I'm glad that I made it through it. But some of the other stuff that they did, they wouldn't back up what they preached. So they would say one thing and do another. So
Hypocrite.
and I'm trying to give some examples, but trying to keep it general. But basically, the kind of leader that would say, I want you to go out there and try new things, and it's okay to fail, right?
I trust
all right to
you.
fail.
Come on, what do you got?
And it's like, that's great to hear. Oh, man, I have a boss that it's going to support me if I fail. But then if you fail, there were repercussions. And we're like, whoa, what about that comment about it's okay to fail? And like,
You fell for that? Idiot.
Yeah.
Sucker.
And then to top it all
That's
off,
number two.
to have them tell you point blank, there's no such thing as work-life balance. I mean, that comment right there just makes you want to be like, you're right. And I'm not going to continue to work for you because I want to have a life. My life is not my work. I want to, be there with my family and make memories. And so, yeah, there were a few times where it came close to, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Thankfully, those powers that be that were above this person saw what was going on and stepped in just in time and took some action. And now I'm happy to report that things got much better after that individual was removed.
Yeah.
And
Murdered.
and I'm that much better for it.
Yeah,
So-
they say you can learn maybe if not more from a bad supervisor, boss, than a good one.
Dead
So hopefully when you get there, you'll know what not to do. You know what I mean, Brett?
Huh? Brett, you were there.
Speaking of places you were there, weren't you an employee of Walmart at one time?
I used to work for old Sam Walton himself. I used to
you're
give him
rich.
ZJs out in the parking lot. No, so after I got fired from Crackers Cove, those sons of bitches, racist sons of bitches. Looking back now, I know why I was fired. I wasn't
You
white
weren't cracking
enough.
enough.
I wasn't white enough. I wasn't Caucasian enough. I wasn't from the Caucasus of Yeah.
I didn't have a high
You got
enough
a
credit score.
credit score of 730 right now.
Yeah. So I had to get a job. I was graduating from high school then. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Chris started going off in the Air Force. So I was like, we gotta do something. So I started working at Walmart, and I was just happy to have a little job to get a little bit of coin in my pocket. And what was I doing at Walmart? Not stocking shelves. I wanted to be a cashier because you just get to stand there and ring shit up. I was a cart pusher, and this was before they had those little machines that can you just put the carts on and kind of help steer it with a rope or
You were the
something.
machine.
But I had no
machine.
muscles and I was scrawny.
Yeah,
So you'd have to
190
get
pounds.
1,000 carts and you're sitting there trying to push them around.
You had to wear like an
So,
orange vest.
yep, you had to put on the
You're like,
stupid
"Ah,
orange
yeah,
vest.
yeah."
We don't want you
that
getting hit.
I would ignore wearing that all the time too. And put on your vest. So I'd go out there, and then I'd do other things like assist with bagging some groceries every now and then.
Like,
And but I started calling sick in that place too because I just wanted to go hang out with my girlfriend. I remember one time I called him sick because Christopher wanted me to go pick him up from
she
the
was getting
Panhandle, Florida.
DJs.
So that's why I had to make some side money getting some ZJs. You know how much a ZJ cost? If you don't know, then you can't afford it. Then I remember working all crazy hours because a lot of times it'd be 24-hour Walmart, I believe, but I'd work around the clock hours sometimes where it'd be like, oh, you're on the 10 to 7 shift at night or 4 to midnight, stuff like that. And then there'd be the time where it would just dip off and all the cars and the people would be gone, but there'd be this sea of carts just everywhere. And so I'd just be out there getting all the cars together and watch traffic start to pick back up sometimes where it'd start all over again. It was miserable, you feel like you're making progress just for people to use the carts for what they're intended and just, leave them all over the place anywhere except where they're supposed to go on the curbs down there. I think that's probably why I had a vendetta against carts. And I can't remember if I was with Nicholas, probably with Pat again, but we were at the Kroger's across the street and we were in the
Where's
parking
one arm Pat?
the Chevy Celebrity. I think it was Pat. I was driving and he would grab a cart and then we would do like 50 through the parking lot and just take that cart and be like, we're going to throw it into a curb. And you'd throw it into a curb and it hit the curb and be like, and it would do all these somersaults in the air. Well, one time that didn't go according to plan and we 50 miles an hour, grab the cart, go. And then instead of the cart going in the curb, it was like, and it went through an entrance and it went straight out into 441. Oh God. It went right on this highway and we're like, I don't know what happened. I don't think a car hit it, but I can't be sure.
Somebody's Googling that right now. Maybe.
Yeah.
We did some
Cart
stupid shit.
goes into traffic, kills
It was
an
like
81-year-old
3 in the
man.
Yeah.
3 in the morning?
One.
So it was the dead of night in this cart, Back to the Future style.
That job didn't last very long though. Walmart, because I called in sick too much, had too much going on. I think that's when I eventually was like, all right, I'm going to just join the Air Force too.
Yeah.
And so that's how I ended up in the Air Force, which had plenty of its own worst jobs, but we could talk about that for days. And that was just part of the gig.
I think you guys really said it best. A lot of our stories, they kind of talk about golf courses and golf carts and things of that nature and grocery carts and a lot of carts. Well, I'm no different with my last job before I went.
ZJs.
There's no ZJs where I worked in my last job before I went to the Air Force. I worked with my dad's wife. I guess, technically she'd be.
There was ZJ.
Not with this guy. Tips for ZJs.
What is a ZJ?
So I was a busboy at another golf course. I don't even know where the hell that was at. It was out way back yonder. Pretty good drive.
Isn't that Pine Meadows?
Man, you remember all them places, huh? I think
I
it
know
was,
you
huh?
worked there. That place doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I worked in the restaurant.
Where the hell
for
was
a
that
little
one at?
while. Yeah,
It's in
right in, like,
out near
Omaha or
Umatilla.
something. Somewhere out in them places. I'd have to look at the old
Umatilla.
the GIPS system again. But yeah, I worked out there with my dad's wife,
The old ball and chain bitch.
step ball and chain. So yeah, Brett called it. But I only worked there for a couple months, and actually, I had it pretty good. I worked as a busboy, getting the tips plus an hourly wage. But the fact that you worked with your stepmom, probably one of the worst jobs I ever had. So I mean, that wasn't a lot of craziness out there between the three of us. Worst jobs ever. But we definitely had some shenanigans. We definitely had some fun with it. Apparently, got a lot of ZJs out there to give. But yeah, so that's the Kemp Brothers and the worst jobs. So at the end of the day, these jobs may have tested our sanity, our patience, and our basic will to live. But they also gave the Kemp Brothers stories that make us who we are today. And this is proof no matter how bad the job, there's always something to laugh about later. I think we do a damn good job at that. Even if it took years, a little bit of therapy or a podcast, here we are. So this has been the Welcome Distraction. I'm Chris.
I'm Brett.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you all next time.
Jay-Z.
DJ.